You're locked into the Womanora Crush Wednesday podcast, the only weekly podcast inspiring, educating, motivating 1 million women entrepreneurs one Wednesday at a time. The WCW podcast is fueled by the Purpose Formula: passion plus purpose plus profit equals success. And here are your hosts, Jen and Modi.
Hey Crushes, you are listening to episode 36 of the WCW podcast. Today, Jen and I will be talking about how to balance a growing business. With all the things going on in life, we're talking today about how to balance it. We're just going to give a few tips. Today is our mini episode. So Jen, what do you think about balance and being an entrepreneur and just life?
Well, I personally don't think that balance truly exists as far as somebody who is doing a whole lot. When I say a whole lot, you could be in a relationship, also have a business, also have a job in a marriage, be a mom, doing all these different things. I don't feel, sorry, Crusher. I don't feel like balance exists because at some point, if you're running a business and you're also working full time, or you're running a business and you have a family or a growing relationship that you're trying to grow and mature, something is not going to be in the balance. Like you might say, okay, Monday night, I got to check email, response to email. I have to send out my pitch to some magazines or blogs. I have to work on this idea that I have. And then, significant other is not going to get your time that night because you chose to work on X, Y, and Z. So that's why I say I don't believe there's true balance, because you're not going to do all these things at the same time.
Right.
And I feel like something is always kind of suffering or to the back burner in this life of mompreneurship, entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, wantrpreneurship, whatever. In this life of having a business, a side hustle, also doing other things, also living your life, I just don't think that there is true balance, because, like I said, something can go by the wayside to work on something else. Madi, what do you think?
I would have to agree with you to a certain extent, only because I feel like when it comes to you starting to become an entrepreneur, I believe you should have that conversation with your family, with your significant other.
And I think to a certain extent there might also be a balance in knowing what's urgent, what's not urgent, right. What needs to come first, such as family, significant other, friendships, children, what needs to come first above the business at certain times. That's also could be a balancing act to figure that out and do that. Because, sometimes I might say, Madi, I can't do this. I'm trying to go work out. Or, last week, for instance, I had date night. I couldn't do something. So it's still, it's to me, there's a balance in how you do things, but I don't think you truly get balance across the board.
Yes. When it comes to friendships and entrepreneurship, sometimes, you have to fall back and just work hard, hustle hard. Like, we talk about that all the time, and a lot of entrepreneurs talk about it, post it everywhere. You have to burn the midnight oil, you have to hustle hard, things like that. So I feel like if all of my friends are doing the same thing I'm doing, we really don't have time right then and there to be shucking and jiving and doing other things. Like right now, we're all hustling, trying to, better ourselves, better our families, better our careers, whatever the case may be. So when it comes to friendship, I get it. There is time. I think that everyone should make time for friends, for friendship, for fellowship, things like that. If you miss a friend, call her up, have lunch, call him up, have lunch with them, have dinner with them, make some time. It's nothing wrong with making time out of your busy schedule to have lunch or dinner or even breakfast with some people or brunch.
For me, friendships, I don't get to see a lot of my friends. They're spread out across the country, which is kind of a gift and a curse at the same time. But sorry for crushes. I had a little cold or congestion at some point. But anyway, so for me, it's like my car is the chatterbox place. If I'm going from point A to point B, that's really the time where I catch up with friends. Whether it be in the morning, whether it be in the afternoon commute, whether, sometimes I might FaceTime while I'm doing something else, FaceTime while I'm cooking dinner, or FaceTime while, giving my daughter a bath, or, find little time where you could do things like that to catch up. Yeah. But like Madi said, a lot of times I don't have the time because, everything that we are trying to do together and outside in other projects takes up too much time. And we just don't have time to just be, doing random, stuff that has nothing to do with where we're trying to go. It just doesn't happen. And I think when you go into entrepreneurship, you have to know that you're going to have to give up a lot of random play times or fun times to get stuff done. Yes,
and I also believe that if you are in a place where you cannot balance at all, you may want to look into getting a virtual assistant, someone that can help you with that load, because no one's load should be so much that they cannot take it. You should be able, if you cannot take it, you need to delegate that work out to somebody that can help you.
Especially if you're a solopreneur.
Yes.
You really, you might not be able to afford it because it's only one person working in the budget. Mm-hmm. But there are some really cheap services and virtual assistants out here, and different apps and stuff that you could pay for that's cheap that can help you to take off some of that load and responsibility off of you.
Yeah.
So, Madi, do you have anything else on balance, or should we go into our question?
I do have another thing on balance, and let's be real. I'm sorry. PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome disease, something like that. PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress, yeah.
Yes,
syndrome.
I did a whole paper on it in grad school, and it was not easy, but it's real. And people do not believe that this thing is real, but it's real. And when someone is telling you that it's a lot going on with them, please do not take it like light. If in fact all these things that we've placed in front of you here that cannot help you with balancing, you may want to seek help. There's nothing wrong with going to speak to someone about whatever is going on in your life, because you may just need to get it out by talking about it to a perfect stranger, and that's totally fine. Seek help. Seek help. If you need that kind of help, it's nothing wrong with going to speak to someone about your situation at hand. Do not put it all on yourself. Do not put that burden on yourself and, make yourself feel like you're just being sucked down to the ground. It shouldn't be like that. If you cannot talk to anybody, definitely, reach out. There's so many psychologists out there, so many, people that you can really just talk with, that you don't have to worry about it being on CNN or any magazine. It's going to be with them and them only. And again, this is when you have to say to yourself, am I invested in myself? This is when you have to really think about it, because if it is $50 per session and you want to feel better about your life and you want to feel better about things, and it's $50, you better cough that $50 up and take that session and make yourself feel good. That's all I can.
And definitely. To me, I believe that counseling, if needed, which is pretty much almost everybody, is part of self-care. And like Madi said, are you investing in yourself or not? Okay, crushes, since this is our motivational episode of the week, we have a crush question from one of our listeners that we wanted to share with you guys and try to help her out and motivate her. This is a question. How do you manage running a business solely by yourself and not hurting relationships, whether they be friendships or romantic ones? Now, I feel like running a business is a relationship in and of itself. It's your baby. And a lot of times you're going to put that baby first before other people and other things. And, that's why it's very important, as Madi said, that you let people in your tribe, in your circle, know might not be able to do X, Y, and Z. So you need to set those expectations prior, because that way people will be able to know and respect, hey, this is the lane that so-and-so is in now. So, I can understand. Now there are going to become times where people might not understand. And I feel like, you have to keep moving forward with what you're doing, because if something is inside of you for you to do it and you stop it just because somebody is sad about the way the relationship is going or whatever, I think you will suffer more in the long run than you and that person. Madi, what do you think?
I agree. I feel like, okay, check this out. If you're having a situation with your significant other, when it comes to your business, maybe you should involve that person in your business. Involve them somehow where they feel like they have some kind of say in it. This can be ways you guys communicate. You just never know until you try. But I definitely think that involving them in your circle, letting them know, like it's been mentioned before, letting them know ahead of time that it's going to take a significant amount of time, and I need support from you all. I need you to understand that not every day I can do this with you all. I have to do this instead. Because every day as an entrepreneur, if you want to be a successful one, you're going to take the time out to write your goals. You're going to take the time out to write your goals even the night before. And every day you should write your goals, small goals, every day. Just write it down. Tell yourself, today I'm going to call the doctor. I'm going to call the dentist. I'm going to go pick up dinner. I'm going to go get my manicure, pedicure. You should write those things down. It helps. That's another way to balance. Using a planner to write everything down. You can't balance everything in your mind. You need to put it out. You need to put it in your phone, or you need to write it out.
Agreed. Sometimes there are going to be people that's going to go with you on the journey, and sometimes it's not. And then there are going to be new people that you meet along the journey that's in the same lane as you are. So there is a possibility that you or somebody else might get hurt in entrepreneurship and balancing relationship.
Yes. But like we've mentioned, there's so many ways to be able to balance that, because we're entrepreneurs and we're mothers and we're wives. How are we able to juggle all of that? Only God knows.
I was about to say, by the grace of God.
By the grace of God. Only God knows, but it can be done. People do it all the time. People do it every day. So there is balance somewhere, somehow, you just have to take the time out to balance everything. You cannot make it.
It's hard work.
It is hard work. It is hard work to keep up, because even since we've been doing the podcast, I myself find it hard sometimes to call everybody like I used to. Call and text, and it's a lot. It takes a lot. After you go to your 9 to 5, a lot of us still have 9 to 5. So you go to your 9 to 5. After you go to your 9 to 5, you go home. You're a wife, you're a mother, you a father, whatever. And you're doing all of these things, and you still have to maintain a friendship. So you still have to call people. You still have to text people. You still have to remember birthdays. We're all human. You have to find balance somehow, some way. So we want to hear from you, crushes. We want to hear from you, crushes. We want to know, what's your biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge that you face as being an entrepreneur? You could send us an email to womanorcrushwednesday@gmail.com. So let us know. You can send us a DM on Instagram or Twitter.
Thanks for tuning in to the Womanore Crush Wednesday podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for Girl Talk with Jen and Modi, along with some of your favorite business crushes, more exclusive business tips, insights, creative business ideas, and doable action steps to improve your business and help you create your phenomenal life. Sharing is caring. Don't forget to tell a friend to subscribe and stay tuned for a weekly dose of the WCW podcast. Crushing hard on the Womanore and want to hear her story on the show? Know a creative woman-owned business that's killing it? Let us know at womanorcrushwednesday@gmail.com.